Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Reimagining Public Safety Committee. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Kiana Simmons, and I will be facilitating tonight's meeting. I'm going to get started with our call to order and purpose. We are here to engage in a community-led process that we believe will lead to meaningful recommendations for reform and alternatives to policing in our community. There is translation available on the bottom of this screen. If you want to click your language preference, please do that now. And this message is being said in Spanish in the Spanish translation option. If you have any questions, you could call Lori, even though Lori is one of our speakers today. If you were nominated to serve on this committee by an organization, you should have received an invitation to be a panelist. If you sign in with that email that was sent to you, it should set automatically. If for some reason you were not automatically set up as a panelist and were nominated, you will be promoted. Please pay attention to your screen to accept the promotion to panelist, as it requires you to accept the promotion. If you have any other suggestions on how to make this meeting more accessible, please email Chris Logan. His email's right there. It's christopherl@sacredheart with an S, sacredhearts.org. We respectfully acknowledge that we host this meeting on the lands of the Muwekma Ohlone people, who have stewarded this land through the generations. We commit ourselves to partner with our Indigenous sisters and brothers to celebrate and honor their legacy in our collective work for justice and in our care for these lands we benefit from today. We will now get started with our lived experience testimony. We did have 2 speakers today. I believe one of them is having some technical difficulties, but I will pass the floor off to Lori Valdez to get us started.
Thank you, Kiana. Good evening, everybody. So I'm gonna start the presentation that Doreen Garcia was gonna present. So I'm gonna get started until she joins us. So first we want to start off with the San Jose PD misbehavior. In 1969, police shot and killed a 15-year-old named Manuel Villa. And I'm going to read you an article that's right there, but I'm going to read it to you so this way. So the recent indictment of former Deputy District Attorney Floyd Marshall for the homicide of a 15-year-old high school student illustrates again the disparity of justice for the white community and the Chicano community. In September of 1969, a young Chicano, Manuel Villa, was shot in the back and killed by 2 members of the San Jose City Police. The circumstance of the deaths were the same. Both were suspects fleeing. In the Villa case, investigation was conducted by the office. Yes? What happened?
Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. In the Villa case, investigation was conducted by the Office of the District Attorney, and the Chicano community called for the intervention of the Office of the State Attorney General to assure fairness. It was further requested that the Attorney General present the case to the grand jury. The same request occurred in the Simmons case. In the Villa case, the Attorney General was not even called by the local authorities. In the Simmons case, the Attorney General presents the case with very little public pressure. The reason is obvious. The death of Simmons involved a white person. This obvious double standards of justice is apparent in other examples nationwide and locally. The poor are treated differently or more descriptively indifferent. The disparity between justice for the poor, or the Chicano in this case, and the white community is clearly evident. It is no wonder that the Chicano residents of this county have no faith in the system of justice as administered. Whether this bias is intentional or unintentional is of no consequence. The injury and injustice continues. It says, we in the Chicano community will call for a congressional investigation of the justice as administered in this county. And this was written by Jack Ibarra from the CAPS organization. Next slide, Chris. So in 1969, there was a protest called La Fiesta de las Rosas, and it was commemorating the arrival of the Spanish conquest to the area. As you can see, this looks very familiar to what we saw with the George Floyd protests. Nothing's changed back from 1969, so it's unfortunate that we're still talking about this and nothing's getting done. Okay, the next slide. The Black Berets were founded in 1959, but in San Jose, the Black Berets actually became who they are in the 1975-76 when the murder of Danny Trevino. Okay, the next one. So right here, we're doing a comparison of the George Floyd comparison, 1969 versus 2020. So the top one is San Jose PD with brutal force to the Rosas Parade in 1969. And then the bottom one is the 2020 protest of the George Floyd. Once again, here we go. 1969, 70, and then the George Floyd protest. So you see the pattern there. The guy's in a chokehold in the black and white picture, and the guy in the colored picture on 2020 is the same thing. This one up here on the top right is an officer with his foot on the neck of a Chicano person, a Chicano youth. And then the bottom one is the George Floyd protest, and we see like 3 cops on top of one person, and it's a person of color, as you can see. So from 1969 to now, things have not changed. Our San Jose PD continues to have that violent pattern of behavior towards the community, especially the Latino community. Next slide. So the police history of violence and cover-up. In 1975, Police Chief Robert Murphy testifies he destroyed 75% of citizens' complaints against San Jose PD in court. Danny Trevino was shot and killed in 1976, and that sparked a lot of protests because of what happened. Also, it was found that the family of Danny Trevino had hired a private pathologist to come up with the cause of death, right? But he couldn't find out the cause of death because Danny Trevino had body parts missing, so he wasn't able to. So they removed body parts from him, so the pathologist was unable to, say what was the real cause of death. One case I want to bring up is the death of Fernando Alvarez in 2019. This was a 19-year-old young man who was on a skateboard. And when it first happened, they said it was a hit and run. And police, San Jose PD, nobody was giving his mother any information for 2 years. His mother went through hell until she was finally able to attain a lawyer. She had to raise money to get a lawyer to take her case, and got video. And then it was revealed that it was a San Jose PD officer who actually, in fact, ran him over. So it was never a hit and run like they said, and they said they didn't have video. They told the mother so much, they put her through so much just to cover it up. And then it ended up coming to light. Another case is like Ryan Doty of the San Jose PD. He has a pattern of violence. He killed Philip Watkins, but he was also involved in the next thing you'll see the picture of a person who he broke his arm in several places where they had to cut his arm open and stitch it up. And he was also involved in the case of Gregory Johnson Jr., who was suspiciously said he committed suicide at San Jose State in a fraternity, which they said that none of the San Jose PD officers were involved, but Ladoris Cradell proved that wasn't true. They were there, and Ryan Doty was one of them that was the first ones on the scene. Mike Pena, who killed Jacob Dominguez in 2017, he was also involved in the beating of the couple in the hotel room in 2020. Mike Pena, these are officers that have a pattern of police violence, and they're still employed with the San Jose PD, and this is where it's a problem. We continue to pay salaries for repeat offenders, and nothing's getting changed. And so the top portion, Chris, is Danny. There's a picture of Danny Trevino on the top, Latino, and then there's a picture of Jacob Dominguez, so you could kind of put faces to who they are. Okay, the next slide. So here's the article for the police chief. There's the police chief who was shredding citizens' complaints. So I gave you a brief history on that. This is Fernando Alvarez, and he was a young man who, see the article right there, 2019, August 27, 2019. The San Jose police said ID'd him, and they said it was a hit and run. This is what they said in the beginning. And then it came out to be that it was really a San Jose police officer who ran the kid over, and they tried to cover it up. I don't know why, but this is the kind of stuff that doesn't need to be happening. We shouldn't be having these kind of cover-ups and police investigating themselves. This is why it doesn't work. Police cannot investigate themselves. It doesn't work, and they'll never be held accountable. And here's Ryan Doty. Here's Philip Watkins, the young man that he killed, and here's one of his victims that is a surviving victim, but this is what he did to his arm, and he still continues to harass this young man to this day, causing him. They've put restraining orders on him, and they've done so much to him. It's not even funny. I don't think that should be appropriate procedures on how cops will harass people because they file complaints against them and continue to get away with it. Okay, the next slide. So this is the timeline of violence. So from 1969 to 76, here's a list of people who were killed by police in San Jose. So when we say that police are not violent towards our community, it's a big lie. This is the Chicano, from the Chicano archives. And this was back in 1969. As you can see, a lot of the names are Latino families. And here's a breakdown of from 2000 to 2020 of May. Here's a breakdown of people's lives who were taken by police in San Jose. So it's not getting better. It really, I don't know how to impress this. It's not that the police are not trained to protect our community. They're trained to kill us. It's disgusting, their way of thinking, and that needs to be changed because so many lives are being taken, and some of them, they're not, if you notice on this, names are being withheld by the police, which we don't know why they would even have to withhold names, but they do that a lot when they don't want somebody to be revealed because there's a pattern with that person or whatever. But we found that that's what happens a lot when they say withheld. It's because that person probably has been abused by by officers many times, and they're trying to cover their tracks. But I don't think this is appropriate kind of a policy where the police can withhold a victim's name from being revealed to the public. Next slide. So here's some of the recent victims of police brutality. There's 20 of these victims seen here. They had children. So there's all their children are growing up in our community, fatherless and living with trauma, and they don't get acknowledged. And this is a problem because we're hurting our most vulnerable children in our community who are growing up with this trauma, and they don't see police as heroes. They don't see them as protectors. They see them as bad people who kill their parents. So this is a breakdown of after 1421, we requested officer-involved shootings from 2009 to 2018. And we found that there were 60 officers involved in shootings. 23 of them were fatal. 85 officers were involved. 7 were repeat offenders. And 1 officer was involved in 4 shootings, which 1 was fatal. Okay, so now this is the racism in our law enforcement. This is a Chicano sheriff's test that they did to any Chicano who wanted to be employed as an officer or sheriff. They had this test. They had to do this test, and it said, if Juan Hernandez Garcia has a 55 Chevy with R3 purple dingle balls hanging from his windows, how many dingle balls does Juan have? And then it says the answers. Then it says, what color are the red lights on the top of the patrol car? And then they have numbers. So you could see the minimum height of a car from the ground is 2 inches. Answers true or false. And then they had the best method to break a piñata is what? Empty tequila bottle, full tequila bottle, 12 gauge shotgun, mace, baton, anti-tank weapon. And so these are the kind of stuff that the police, law enforcement thinks it's a joke. They think it's a joke to dehumanize, demean, and talk to like the Latino community like we're idiots. You know, what day is the bell ringer special at Taco Bell? Like, what the hell is that? Like, you know, it's like, how do we get past that racism that they think it's okay that they can do tests like this and be indifferent with other officers? And but yet, if you want, if a Latino, how would you get a Latino officer or a Chicano officer to want to even become an officer in a place where this is the type of behavior where they have this racism, blatantly racism right there, doing these tests and thinking it's a joke? It's not a joke. And so the next one is the breakdown of people who were killed and the police chiefs who they were under, and also the different kinds of special teams that target certain neighborhoods. So these are our special teams that we need to get rid of, because basically they just target certain neighborhoods, and all they do, it's like a racist. They're just targeting certain neighborhoods. They don't go in neighborhoods like Willow Glen. They specifically target. So there's the VCT emerged from the gangs prevention. There's the Operation Community Shield. There was the BCRP. There's the Cato. There's the special teams. There's the ones that killed Jacob Dominguez. And the one that killed Anthony Nunes. There's all these new little special teams that they call them special teams, or covert teams. These are all racist teams that target specific areas. Doesn't matter what they say, that's what it is. So we don't need those kind of special teams. What we need is officers who are properly trained, who know the culture, know the community, and come from the community, who understand the difference in the communication, and who can see themselves when they look, they see that person as them. It's frustrating because we could talk from back in 1969 to now, the families who were impacted by police violence back then, they're requesting the same thing our families have been requesting of our city leaders, who always falls on deaf ears. Like, they're afraid to make the changes when there's so much money being spent, tax dollars are being spent for people to be killed. Like, our tax dollars are paying for them to kill our loved ones. So it's like we're paying for them. We're paying out of our money for our loved ones who are dead now. And that's not acceptable. And a lot of this, the money, how much money is being paid, it's not coming out of their pockets either. It's coming out of the city taxes. City taxpayers are paying for this. They range from 11 million to 400,000, but there's like, I have a handful, like 10, 15 people that the highest one was 11 million, the lowest one was 400,000. And this is something that that money can be better used to put back into our community, into our education for our children, to housing, to so much other stuff. When the police start paying for stuff, their wrongdoings out of their own paychecks, they're going to think twice when they decide to take a life, because they know they're not going to get paid like they were. It's just, there has to be a way to make them accountable, and we need to stop believing the narrative that they feed everybody. They're afraid for their life. They are not afraid for their life. That's what they're trained to say, so they can justify killing everybody. And it needs to stop. It's disgusting, and it's hurtful, because I can relate to the families back in 1969. Some of the stuff, they were simple things. They were just asking for accountability, for them to be held responsible for their actions. They were asking back then, we're asking now, we're still not getting it. And it's sometimes you feel like, are they ever going to change? Are they ever going to admit that they've been wrong? Are they ever going to see that their pattern of behavior has been violent towards the Chicano community? How do they expect our Chicano community to trust, believe, and respect them when they don't see us as people worthy of being respected? They just rather gun us down like animals in the street and just say, oh, well, I was afraid for my life and you're gone. And, it's something that people, you need to understand. When it's your family member, you never think you're going to be in that position, but it's like they're human just like us. They always want to say, well, we're just like, yeah, you are. And if I was to commit a crime and kill somebody, I'd be held accountable. And that's the same way we expect them to be held accountable, especially because we pay for their salaries. And so here's a picture of San Jose PD harassing, beating, and traumatizing innocent women and children at protests. So they don't even have respect for women and children. Here's the pattern of violent behavior towards Chicano community. In July 1992, San Jose PD assaulted elderly women and children of Fritzen Drive, and they entered the Favela and Ramirez homes and assaulted their families. Then on July 8th, when complaints were filed, July 10th, San Jose PD went out to Poco Way and assaulted elderly women and innocent children, entered the Frosto home and assaulted the entire family. In 1994, Moses Pardo was killed by San Jose PD at Save Mart on Story Road, and Arthur Diaz was ran over by sheriffs, and Jimmy Zuniga was brutally beat by the San Jose PD in his own home. So this is the pattern. This is the pattern that they've had way back when, and they're not going to say that it's changed and they're trying to make things better with the community, because it's still happening present day. Okay. So some of the recommendations that local families want and have been asking was for the immediate changes in procedure of how police interact with families who are traumatized by police violence. Which what that means is when they kill your loved one, they always take at the family's most vulnerable moment after they've killed their loved one. They drag families down to the police station to interrogate them in hope and promises that they'll get to see their loved one if they come down there and they answer a few questions. And they do that so they can try to get information from the family to use against their loved one so they can justify their reason for killing. And they don't do that to, they only do that to families of police violence. We also want all disciplinary records and body camera footage to be released unredacted and without little narratives pointing arrows trying to sway the public on how to see it. Let everybody judge it for themselves. See the unedited version of these body cameras. And we should have all the disciplinary records of every officer that is involved at the scene of an officer-involved shooting. We want officers to be held accountable for killing, to go on leave without pay. We want them to be drug tested immediately within an hour of the incident, and to terminate them if they can, and to require them to carry their own excessive force insurance that they pay out of their own pocket. And if they cannot continue to keep, if they are too much of a high risk from so many complaints and stuff, and they are no longer able to keep insurance, they are terminated. No ands, ifs, or buts about it, and they cannot go to arbitration and try to get their jobs back. We want them to defund and demilitarize. We want them to dismantle the VCT, the MERGE, the covert response, and the street crimes unit. Those are all racist units that target Latino communities that they say they're trying to stop crime. They always arrive after the fact. They are never there to prevent crime. They come after the fact and they just create more chaos in our community and just expose our community to the violent pattern of behavior they've continued to have since the inception of the San Jose PD. We want an independent investigation office that does every officer-involved shooting that is not connected to the San Jose Police Department or the DA's office. We want money to be used to invest in community-driven support systems to prevent crime and rehabilitate our community. We want to be able to help our youth who are maybe out there doing things because they're hungry or because their family's struggling to do something and they're committing crime. They like steal or they do some because it's a means of survival, not because they want to, but there's no support system to help families in certain neighborhoods, and our youth are getting targeted. Next.
Lori, did you want to say some final thoughts before we move on to public comment?
I just want people to remember that when an officer-involved shooting happens, they're real quick to try to bring up the person's past, which had nothing to do with what that instant, that moment, right? They bring up that to dissuade, to persuade, and the media, they use the media to do this, to dehumanize our loved ones, and that needs to stop. Because what they need to do is they need to start not calling their cops heroes or they did things right. They need to keep their mouths quiet and be respectful of the grieving families. And they need to give information that they can give, which is, okay, these officers that were involved in this shooting, so-and-so officer so-and-so has had 15 complaints filed against him since this is what we need to know. That's what they should be giving us, not trying to bring up somebody's past. If somebody has a past criminal record and they've done their time, why do they have to bring it up? It had nothing to do with it. And this is the common practice of officer involved shootings, and that needs to stop. They need to be very empathetic. They need to understand that you just took somebody's family loved one, and you need to not try to dehumanize them, because put yourself in our shoes. Would you like somebody to do that to your family? The way you want your mom, your sister, your brother, your wife to be treated, that's the way you should be treating the community you chose to protect and serve. And so just remember that it can happen to anybody. And I don't wish any of you to walk in our shoes, because it's a living hell. It's not the same life we knew prior to this. And I really try hard to make people hear what I'm saying. And I'm not against, I don't hate the police. I do not approve of the police violent pattern of behavior. And every officer as an adult needs to be held accountable. That uniform should not give them the right to kill people just because they can. And it needs to stop. They need to be held accountable. They need to understand their impact. For their reaction, for every action, there's a reaction, and their actions are causing the community to react in a way that they think everybody's against them. But it's about, we want accountability, we want transparency, we want somebody to be held accountable, and we want it to stop already. It's been going on for decades in our community, and it's still going on, and we keep talking about the same things and nothing's being done. So hopefully everybody on this advisory committee understands how important you being a part of this advisory committee. It's not only that we're going to make a difference, but we're going to do it to protect further trauma to our community, to prevent our children to being exposed to that violent pattern of behavior by these officers who are supposed to be role models to our children, but they're not very good role models, because they're teaching our kids to kill and get away with it. And that's not something I want my son to think. It's okay, you become a cop and you could kill somebody. That is the wrong message. And I hope that, anybody who's listening, that you hear me. This is coming from a place where I want to protect my community. I don't want nobody else to go through this. I don't want another child to cry and have to grow up fatherless. This has to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. And I just want to say you did a great job of presenting all of that information. I know you were planning on having another speaker with you. So thank you so much for giving us the presentation by yourself, which could be hard. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to remind everyone really quickly before we go into public comment to please turn on your language preferences, your interpretation on the bottom of your Zoom account, so you can hear things correctly or in your language of preference. So we'll go into public comment. If anyone from the public would like to raise their hand, please do so now.
I see Paul Soto is first to raise his hand. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. Thank you very much. This needed to be done. It absolutely needed to be done. And what I would like to do is, nobody's contacting me, nobody's calling me. I wonder why. But, my research in centering the research that I have about the Chicano experience and the Mexicano experience within the context of San Jose, is able to be changed. Number one, the San Jose historical context document that is produced about the city's history. My research is in there. And my research was sufficient to remove the felon statute, the research, and taking it through the bureaucratic process. And so that's why centering the Chicano experience within the context of these types of meetings is so critically important. Look at that information. And that's just a piece. I have all kinds of documents related to, first of all, I would like to thank Ernestina Garcia. Ernestina Garcia, Las Mujeres de Aztlán, en Confederación de la Raza Unida. Jack Ibarra, Jack Brito, Consuelo Rodriguez, all of these women and men, these are my heroes because I understood what it is that they had done for my community when my father was growing up here and the way that we were treated. And I agree with what Gloria says. We're not, as far as my position is, I am not against the police department. I'm glad that we have one to protect the citizens that are the most vulnerable in our communities and that are being victimized. However, when the ones that we go to for protection are the ones that we need protection from, you no longer are worthy of wearing that badge, you need to take it off. And we demand that the San Jose Police Department do something about that, man. Clean house, clean house. That's all we're asking. I'd like to thank Chief Mata for allowing this. This would never happen if Chief Tyndall had become chief. This would never happen, this kind of meeting. So I would like to thank Chief Mata for allowing this to happen and for us to coordinate and really actually craft policy. Number one, I would like for us to create a presentation with this, really refine the presentation, put this Chicano experience in the academies. It's a part of the curriculum in the academies for them to know that there's a history in the city that you have to understand, that they're still experiencing. Okay, and I got much more, but I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you, Lori.
Do we have any other hands for public comment?
I see Jesse. Go ahead.
Hi, can people hear me? I just wanted to say thank you so much to Lori for your personal testimony. And I've heard you speak many times, and I think your experience is really important to the community. I also think as we think about moving forward and think about what is our definition of community safety, as Lori said, that really has to be representative of what the community is here in San Jose. And we also must think about our most marginalized members of our community. So when we talk about community safety, it's important to, for example, acknowledge that while the Black population of San Jose is less than 3% of our general population, it's more than 17% of our unhoused population. And I think when we talk about community safety, we really need to talk about safety for whom, right? Because we hear this comment of community safety a lot, and it only means safety for a certain type of people, for people who have money, for people who are moving here for tech jobs, and not that those people shouldn't be safe, but our priority should be upon the safety of the most vulnerable members of our community. So thank you so much, Lori. And I hope that we can consider the most vulnerable members of our community.
Okay, thank you. Mary, go ahead and unmute if you're able to.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Inés Ortega. Entiendo, gracias por compartir la historia, Larry. No sé cómo pronunciar su nombre, pero gracias. Pero en mi experiencia también hay una preocupación como líder de mi comunidad de Winchester, Cadillac, donde vivimos entre pandillas, donde nuestros oficiales, a la experiencia de los años que yo he llevado, ellos han estado aquí para nosotros. Tal vez no he experimentado, pero yo he conocido algunas caritas que mostraron las fotos donde he visto, son personas que han estado en pandillas. So, hay un contra y un pro, porque el oficial se tiene que a veces que defender. Entiendo que no es toda la culpa, sé que cometen errores, pero también pongámonos del lado de ellos. Son personas humanas, en donde ellos también tienen que buscar su seguridad y la seguridad de todos. Muy cierto, no llegan al momento que está pasando el incidente o el asesinato. ¿Por qué? Porque en lo que estamos llamando ellos están en otro lado, en lo que llegan ya pasaron las cosas. Al menos yo mi experiencia, y les digo con el corazón, aquí está el Chief Mata, desde el año que prometió el estar con nosotros para nuestra comunidad, él ha estado aquí. Ha mejorado la seguridad de nuestra comunidad, pero seguimos en la lucha. Algo que he aprendido del el entrenamiento con Marta Domínguez, nosotros somos los ojos de ellos, somos los oídos de ellos. Si como comunidad, como padres, no nos unimos a ellos y tratamos de que nuestros hijos no anden en pandillas, en drogas, esto podría evitar también una muerte. Es mi comentario hacia todos y ese es mi corazón hacia mi comunidad y mi experiencia. Gracias.
Thank you so much. I'm not seeing any additional hands.
There's one more. Sorry, Keon.
Oh,
There's
okay, sorry.
Mary Lou. Okay, go ahead, Mary Lou.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to hear heartfelt feelings that have been suppressed for a long time. The reason I want to speak is I ride on the light rail, and a couple of times, twice, I have been on light rail, and when it stops at the heading stop, I believe that's where the county jail, where the jail is. A man will get on. He looks like he's had a rough night. Let's put it that way. He looks like he's had a rough night, and I start talking with, both times I started talking with these single guys, and they've spent the night in jail, and they tell me how they were treated when they were in jail. And I'm sure that these guys were not saints the night before, you know, they were out on a drunk or something. But nonetheless, the way that they were treated in jail, that their cell phone and their money was taken from them, their shoestrings were taken from them. So I guess so they don't hang themselves. I'm not really quite sure what that's about. But anyway, and I looked down and the guy doesn't have his shoestrings in his shoes. So I know that he's not just making this up. Slept in very rough conditions. Another person was put in his jail cell that night, and he got peed on by that guy. And then when both of these men got released, the valuables that they came in with, which was money and a cell phone, all the police knew nothing about it. There's like, no, you didn't come in with any money. You didn't come in with a cell phone. And it sounds like the jail is a snake pit. And the police, I wonder about the accountability. Maybe these guys were exaggerating. Maybe they were flat out lying, but by all appearances, they were not treated well, and they were stolen. Their things were stolen by the police. And it disheartens me to think that the police, who are supposed to be protecting the San Jose citizen, is not. And so I wanted to express that concern that I have. Thank you.
Lori, did you want to say something?
I wanted, thanks, Mary Lou, for bringing that up, because you just reminded me of something I wanted that is perfect for me to share. So as far as those young men saying that they come in with property and they leave, well, there's an article where it says San Jose PD is notorious for getting evidence from the evidence room, personal property, drugs, using them, stuff like that. And I know for a fact that it's true, because one of my longtime neighbors that I grew up with, down the street from our house, he had a problem using PCP, right? And he actually turned my little sister onto using PCP, and I used to tell him, you better stop that. But later, as time went on, I would tell him, like, how come every time you get arrested and you have PCP, you're out within a week, right? So then one day he got drunk and he shared with me that his probation or parole officer would get the PCP from the evidence room, would meet him at a local grocery store, put it in a box or whatever, and they would pass in the aisles of the grocery store and hand off the product. My friend would sell the PCP on the streets, and give that officer, half of the proceeds. And if he got arrested, he would let him sit in the jail for a few days and then get him out and not violate him. And that was a pattern. My friend is gone now. He passed away a few years ago. But I used to tell him, like, I'm going to follow you one day and I'm going to find out who that cop is, because that's bullshit. Like, he's feeding you, not only you, but you're feeding that crap to my sister. And it really bugged me. Like, this is what the cops do. They take people's property, they keep it as their own. They take stuff from the evidence room and sell it. And this is a pattern of practice that they do, that some of them get away with, and it has to stop. But they'll never admit it. But I know that it happens, because my friend was a living testimony. I used to see him taking off and he would get arrested, and it was the same thing every 2 weeks. He would go and meet this officer at a local store, and he would pass them in the aisles, and he would get the PCP from this officer to sell on the streets. So they help keep people high on drugs. They're probably using them too, but they keep the community high on drugs so they can have an excuse to beat up people.
All right. Thank you, Lori, and everyone for speaking up at public comment. I would like to make a very quick comment. I think it's really important to look at historical policing practices and how that they've targeted traditionally Latino communities, mostly on the east side and downtown. There's a lot of them. Project Crackdown, Right Connection, Here, Sage, multiple others are really important to look at. And I urge my fellow commissioners to please do your research on these kinds of projects, and as you make your recommendations, to look at the historical context of how the police have over-policed communities of color. But I think that concludes public comment. We'll continue on. I'm going to give the floor over to Anthony Lee, who is going to give an update on the Youth Council.
Hello there. Just want to double check if you all can hear me. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, just want to be sure. I apologize. I'm doing this actually on my car, so I want to make sure that y'all hear me. Just so folks have an understanding who I am. I am the principal and consultant who's working on this very important project. My focus and my experience has been with the Asian Pacific American leadership community for a very long time. I have worked with a lot of CBOs in the past. My expertise is leadership development, in particular facilitation. So when I was asked to take part of this, it was based on those skill sets and knowing the work knowing how important it is to uplift our youth leaders. Now, I want to do a quick update in terms of how this kind of started and what's going on, and then afterwards what we're doing moving forward, and then also to reiterate what the intention is, which you can find right here. So when we started talking about reimagining public safety, there was a desire to really empower the youth, to give them a space and voice to be able to speak and to provide their own insight and their wisdom into this. After some couple hiccups, we were able to get this started. We got this started in this past November, and we reached out to 12 different organizations. As you can see here by the slides, we were able to reach out to 9 organizations, and they were able to nominate youth leaders who their own leaders of these organizations feel like they can contribute very valuable insights to really impact what reimagining public safety can look like. We also reached out to the 3 orgs, and due to logistics, people power, they were able to respond. But with 9 folks, we're thinking to ourselves, yes, this is good enough for critical mass to have a really comprehensive, integrative, holistic look and representation from the community. Enough for us to move forward. The commission, we also had to decide, because this time was really short, we had to really think about how do we maximize our time together. And so part of it is there is an experience or projection onto youth that they don't have much voice. And sometimes our youth leaders kind of take that on the projection. So a lot of the work we're doing right now is focused on leadership development, empowerment, then the proposals. a lot of it is like we're trying to rearrange their belief system, what can leadership look like, what does empowerment look like for them. And so when they do proposals, it's from a place of their own being, who they represent, what the knowledge they represent, and being able to show up strong for their community. We talk about context of themes of empowerment, systems, and then they are given room to work. When I'm saying work, the first piece of work is like the identity work, making sure that they recognize the intersections with their own intersections, but each other's intersection. After that, then they actually do the work in terms of how do we show ourselves fully as leaders, empowered to create proposals that encompasses the desire and need of the community itself. While working with these youth, it's really wonderful to see this. The youth are very aware of what's going on, and it's been an honor to lead them through this process. My purpose, and it is only to facilitate and reminding them that they are not here to be tokenized, but to create space for their own impact. And in this case, it's through the proposal. I think, and yes, and by the end of February, we are really excited to have these proposals ready to go by then. So that's our timeline. And that's my update.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you, Chicano.
that. So now we as a group will need to discuss this. I will now entertain motions for a vote to make this the full list of official nominating organizations for the Youth Council, the 9 that were able to respond. Is there discussion?
Yes, hi, Kiana. This is Sandra Asher. I had a question.
Yes.
Since there are 3 organizations that didn't respond, if we would like to add an organization to nominate a youth, and I'm thinking in particular from the disability community, would we be open to doing so, or is it too late and they need to I'll understand if they really need to just kind of move on with what they have.
Anthony here. I want to say, is it possible to get them ready to go by Saturday? Because that's our next session. Because I would love for that community to be represented, and that's been brought up multiple times. One of the challenges that sometimes our network are not as comprehensive, or sometimes there's like barriers. And this is wonderful if we can recommend somebody by Saturday so that we can have them join us for the rest of the session.
Okay, I do have someone in mind. I'm not sure if they're available or not, but I can certainly reach out and find out.
That would be wonderful, because my intention is also to have as holistic, as integrative representation of possible to do this work.
Yeah, Kiana, just got a quick point of order. We'll want to have someone first and second the motion, and then we'll be able to make a friendly amendment to add a space for organization from the disabled community.
And I would like to make that motion to nominate the 9 youth leaders and to be able to have someone from the disability community.
This is Zihoma. I would like to second that.
Is there further discussion?
I just wanted to throw in there that I think I'm really proud of the work that has happened for these youth leaders to be able to come into the space and be able to really reach out to other folks in their community and take this learning opportunity, and really thank Anthony for stepping into that work. And just to reinforce, thank you, Sandra, for bringing that idea up in terms of being able to make sure we have that. When there was an original list, when the coalition was coming up with a set of organizations that could nominate people to it, we've been trying to stay with the focus and making sure that these are the initial things. But I would love to make sure, as long as the committee itself doesn't feel like we're imposing someone else on them, to try to give as much autonomy to the youth council as possible. So like my only addendum to perhaps to that motion is to say, we would like to recommend this and affirm these organizations nominating, but the youth would also have to similarly endorse and embrace accepting someone else, another nominee. I don't perceive that there would be a problem with that, but I really don't want the youth that are part of this process to feel like we are dictating who is sitting there and what's happening with them. Again, I don't anticipate a problem, but I just want to make sure that we're affirming their autonomy in this process.
Yeah, I want to mention that the Silicon Valley Debug Youth, I know that they wanted to be involved, so I can reach out to the group and make sure, see if we get some of the youth, because we have youth that have families that are incarcerated and youth who have been involved in the juvenile justice. So I'll make sure, see if they're available to participate on Saturdays.
Pancho, did you have anything else to add? Is your hand still up?
There was a
No, okay.
there was a comment from Paul Soto. Sorry we missed you, Paul.
No, I'm just wondering, like, so we can give a comment after each item, right? Like each item that you go down. Is that wrong or correct or what?
We will have public comment at the end after the
No, what I
subcommittee
mean on
report.
each one of these items that you're proposing, because you're proposing now a youth council and update, so the public can comment on that, correct?
Yes, if you'd like to
Okay.
comment, you can.
Good. Okay, thank you. Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. First of all, I'm not okay with the word leader, because anybody that does something, they serve their community. We serve, we do not lead. A leader is something that is assigned to somebody. Can like look to you as a leader, but you don't call yourself a leader, is what I'm saying. There's a little, because I serve my community, I don't lead it. And so that I have a problem with that. Secondly, there's no work that's produced by this youth that I can look at. There's no body of work that I could review to see what direction they're going, so that I can comment on it, so that we can find a semblance. That's number two. There's no work produced, so I can't review it. And I need to be able to review it. And number three is that this intersectionality point, I want that out. I don't think that intersectionality allows anybody to butt their nose in to any kind of topic and say, well, this is an intersectionality issue and that's it and that's all. And what it does is it dilutes the effectiveness and the efficacy of what it is that somebody is trying to propose, but they come and they side bust because they're asserting intersectionality. So that I want that out, because it doesn't work. Not in these situations. This is the issues are, the stakes are high, and it's very serious what it is that we're doing. So being able to get the youth their training wheels in this context, I don't think is proper. I don't think it's proper for them to have their training wheels and for them to learn to participate in government and in a situation like this that is this serious. I think they're suitable for any other kind of committee, but something like this, it's too critical. You just saw the history. That is a long storied history. So, I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, I think Chicanos should be the ones that are running the show. I think Chicanos should be the ones that are because we in our generations, our history is right there to be seen. It's documented. We have the women that were protecting us. You know, all the walkouts with the CAP, those were all Chicanos. You know, so I just think that we're trying to get, you know, that, and there's look at those nonprofits. All those nonprofits collect money from the city and the county. They're all nonprofits, I think, with the exception of the Hero Tent. All the others, though, they're collecting money left and right. So their position is a little bit compromised. You know, so I just got really serious problems with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're ready to call the question, if you'd like to make that, Kiana.
Yes. So sorry, am I just asking, is there a question for the youth council update?
No, that means we'll have the vote for the nominees to raise their hand.
Okay. Yes. All in favor? Are you getting that, Chris?
Yep, I'm taking a screenshot now.
Okay. Have you got it?
I got it, yeah.
Okay, please lower your hands if they were previously up. And is anyone against? Okay, I don't see any hands. The motion passes. Are we able to move forward, Chris?
Yep, subcommittee reports.
Great,
Is
thank you
this
so
a-
much. Oh,
Is
I'm
this a
sorry.
good time for me to present myself?
Oh, Doreen. Everyone, this is our speaker, Doreen. Doreen, we're so happy you were able to join us. We passed your part of the presentation, and so we're going to move
Oh.
off for now because we're almost at the end of the meeting. You know, we were able to hold it down. So thank you for all the files and the information you were able to relate to me and Lori.
Oh, sure. I appreciate you calling on me, and if I could help you in any way and continue to help you, let me know.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll just keep on going here. We're gonna start with our steering committee, and I'm gonna pass it on to Chris for an update.
Yes, just want to give a quick update. Thank you all for your recommendations. We presently have about 15 to 20, and so I'm going to compile them on a spreadsheet and confer with the members of the steering committee on how we can best format them so that we can get feedback from your various organizations. And so please expect to get some instructions on that in the coming weeks on how we can take these recommendations to the community, get their feedback so we can refine them.
Thank you, Chris. The next subcommittee is the promotion and prevention. Is there an update from anyone that they would like to share?
I can give an update. Our committee has been coming up with our policy ideas. So we have a spreadsheet of, and this way I think it's about 12 policy ideas that we're continuing to, for the most part, they're done. I think we're continuing to tinker with some of them and should have them fully completed by the time Chris is ready to put them in a spreadsheet. And just to say that they are ranging from issues dealing with homelessness, domestic violence, streets and traffic and transportation. There's some around economics, other issues around housing, and then city taxes. Thank you.
Yeah, but he said they already had missed the beginning of it, so.
Thank you. The next subcommittee is police accountability and reform. Is there an update?
Hi, this is Sandra Asher. No update. We did complete the rough drafts of our recommendations and submitted them to Chris. So they're ready for him to format and send out to everyone to get feedback.
Thank you. And finally,
I just have a quick comment, if I could, please, Kiana.
Yeah.
My apologies. This is Jewel. Sandra, I would like to help on that committee if you all need an extra hand or if that's going to be okay.
Question for Chris, would we need to do a vote to add someone to the committee? And I know we have guidelines as to the percent of members that can be on each committee. So I would look for your guidance.
I think it'll be appropriate if we're having a meeting between, if you're having a meeting between now and the next full committee to invite Jewel Buchanan as in an advisory capacity, and then we can vote for that at the next meeting. I believe that will be appropriate if we did that.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'll have to look and see when our next meeting is, and Jewel, I'll get your, I'll find your email and I'll connect with you.
Great. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you. So we've got our last subcommittee report, the alternative safety and response. Is there an update from this committee?
Yes, this is Reverend Sammy Evans, serving on behalf of PACT and the beloved community. And we do have a number of recommendations for alternatives to policing. They include some data collection and research into programs such as Trust, which is a new community behavioral health services response initiative. And then we are also seeking to collect some data about the 911 dispatch center processes and what the culture is like in that space. Furthermore, we are researching and recommending a 911 crisis diversion program for people experiencing mental health issues, as well as a domestic violence response network for people experiencing domestic violence and seeking alternative community response. And we have are working on some one-pagers for each of those and are committed to taking those to our respective communities in the next coming weeks, and are planning to meet early in February to bring that feedback back and then to have it ready to be presented to this larger committee. So.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, we are near the end of our meeting where we want. Oh,
Paul Soto has, yeah, go ahead. You're good. Paul Soto has his hand raised for public comment.
Okay.
I actually had it raised for the other two items, but I'll state my position here. Is that I need to see, as a member of the public, I'm not a part of these in none of those committees. Tried to be, but I was excluded. For what reason, no one says. I'm met with silence. But anyways, I don't have no body of work that I can review. You're not producing anything that I can look at. I'm part of the public. I want to know. I want to know what you guys are talking about. I don't want to just hear it with my ears. I want to be able to go somewhere on a site to look at what you guys are talking about. You know, because if you're going to just like keep everything a secret and then like, you know, compile this long report and then submit that to the council, I'm telling you, no one here, absolutely no one spends more time in the council than I do. I know how they think. I've done it I'm going on 4 years, man, with no pay. I don't get paid a penny. And I'm in every single subcommittee, every single council meeting, every single one of these types of meetings, and the county. So nobody knows more about how these people think than I do. But I'm the last one that's going to be consulted. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. I don't care if people don't like my personality. No, this ain't a personality contest. This is about getting the policy issues changed, getting the culture changed. Okay, and what I'm saying again for the record is that I'm putting my experience and my knowledge at the service of this committee, and it's being met with silence. That's going to be an issue when it comes up, because once this report is submitted, I'm going to have to talk about that at the council. That, hey man, this go ahead. This is all a bunch of nonprofits that were getting paid, and they go to this meeting for political gain, or to make sure that they can keep their grant money coming. You know, or we can really talk about hard policy issues like having a psychological test on the officer after he comes back from a shooting. You know, why don't we talk about that? That is a concrete policy issue that can be changed. Is this person needs to have a psychological evaluation, and a psych needs to clear him before he can go back to work. That is non-existent right now. What Lori had come up, that was good, but also I want Lori and one other person in that academy. In the first week, in the last week, in all 3 academies. Nobody wants to talk to me about that, but I bet you that happens, because that is centering this community in the academies right at the beginning. You can't get any more centering the community within the context of policing than to place citizens from the community in that context right from the beginning, to sensitize them to the ultimate responsibility that we lay upon them, and that is to make a decision to take a human life. Whether it's justified or not justified doesn't matter. What matters is that you are going to take a human life. You have to understand the gravity of that first, right when you come in. Okay, and so that's my piece. That's what I got to say. And thank you very much for conducting the meeting.
Thank you. Is there any other hands for public comment?
That was the last raised hand.
Okay. Well, that concludes our meeting tonight. I'd like to move that we adjourn. Forget how to say that. Is there a second?
Second.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. That concludes our meeting tonight. We will have another one February 2nd at 8 in the morning, 8:30.
Thank you, Kiana. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.